Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the word primary really just means, like you said, the household stuff, the life decision stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't ever just, make a decision or change my life drastically without talking to all the people in my life that matter.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, well, if I were to want to move, Reid would, Reid would really need to be on board with that, So,
well, and
that's
ultimately too, like you get to do whatever you want with your life.
Oh, totally.
I kind of submit to that piece, and if you wanted to move, I would be figuring out how to make that work for me.
Yeah.
To keep you, for me to be getting what I need from our relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think that's it. I mean, most people misunderstand primary as being, like, more important. Mm-hmm. And I guess you could see it that way. But at the same time, like, the way I use it is we share finances, we share a home, we share the electric bill. So that to me is what primary means, is that, you're really just, like, primary in my life in terms of the practical stuff.
Are there other terms that you feel comfortable or close with using, like...
Well, we use partner.
Yeah. Reid's my partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is only confusing to people who don't know us when Allison and I are at a business conference, because people don't. They're like, business partner, or.
Oh, I think people in the straight world think that that's true too, because marriage is still the default in pretty much most of the world. So if I introduce him as my partner, people think that we're in business together most of the time, unless we're in queer space or we're in urban space where it's a little bit more acceptable. But when we visit my folks in North Carolina, there's definitely a moment of like, wait, who? What?
Yeah, and it feels weird to use girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And then you're not my fiance, so there's not really a word for that.
Honestly, usually if I'm talking to super normos, I call you my husband.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. I've never called you my wife.
Yeah, you have.
Should I?
You've done it before.
In my sleep?
No, like on road trips and stuff when we're driving through the South.
Oh, yeah, this is my wife, or I'm waiting for my wife. Yeah. That just makes more sense to people.
Yeah, they understand what that means. And, like, we won't be getting separate beds in the hotel. Mm-hmm. If I introduce you as my partner, it's just like, oh, you're on a business trip. I'm like, no, we're on a sexy trip.
What if I introduce you as parole officer?
That's funny. Kind of. Yeah.
No.
What about with your relationship style? Like, do you consider yourselves polyamorous, consensual, non-monogamy, open, into something else?
I say open. For me, I hang out with poly people. I feel like the word people who identify as polyamorous tend to, in my experience, have a little slightly more activist bent sometimes. Or it seems like polyamory means they're actively looking for multiple relationships. They like want multiple relationships and they don't feel fulfilled unless they have them. And again, that's just from my own personal experiences with people.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I feel like I could be perfectly comfortable with one partner. I mean, again, Reid and I were monogamish probably from the outside for a very long time before I started seeing my girlfriend.
We were still, well, I guess monogamish is a good term.
Because we didn't have any other, like...
threesome stuff, but I never stopped sleeping with all my friends.
Yeah, but I feel like the in-love fact is, like, the difference between polyamory and other kinds of non-monogamy is, like, whether or not you are, like, actively in love with somebody else. And I don't feel like that was the case for a number of years in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And that felt fine for me, which is why I don't identify as polyamorous, because I didn't need to be in love with other people. I didn't want to be necessarily in love with other people unless it was the right thing. Yeah. So that's why that word just doesn't work for me. I usually just say I'm open, or I'm in an open relationship.
Cool. I use poly.
Yeah.
Because I'm so... I will always follow up polyamorous with slutty. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to get people to understand that while I will sleep with many, many people, I still like falling in love and being in love, and it's not... I mean, in some ways, mostly what I'm distinguishing is I'm not a swinger. And then, for me, queer is really an umbrella term that means ask me more. It's kind of like being a jazz... If you were a jazz fan and you met another jazz fan and you both realized you love jazz, the next question that happens is, well, what kind of jazz? So queer for me to other queers is really just the beginning of talking about what kind of queer are you. Mm-hmm. And then polyamory just helps me distinguish for other people that I'm not just... While I enjoy my anonymous hookups too, like it's I like falling in love, and I will have several relationships going on at any given time, even if those relationships for me are, you know, friends of mine that I love dearly, you know, that I've been friends with and fucking for 15 years. We're just not like dating. Or
but anonymous is a weird word too. You don't have anonymous hookups.
every once in a while, but it's I don't
Like
see
you're not
them.
meeting people on Craigslist or Tinder or something.
No, but if I mean, I've had sex with people I didn't ask their name, and they didn't ask me my name, and we were fine with it. Like, it was fun. But we also knew or were vetted by other friends of ours that we were sluts who had our shit together.
Right. You didn't meet somebody like see
In an
someone on the
alley.
street
No.
and go. Yeah, I guess there's different degrees of an anonymity or something.
Like, I need anonymity with a high degree of negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever need to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
But I prefer that we exchange numbers because good sluts are hard to find.